Well, we could actually get into this. Now, this is from Respectable Rants. Big shout out to Respectable Rants. This is allegedly the footage of the unalivement of Box from 107 Hoover. For those of y'all who don't know, this is a man who is allegedly, maybe not responsible for the unalivement of KP from Hundreds. And he recently lost his life earlier last week in a midnight or 12:30 a.m. powing in South Central Los Angeles on Vermont in the hundreds. So we finna jump into this Contiana, man. They say they got the video. Shout out to Respectable Rant.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about Killer Clock, aka Box from 107 Hoover. We're going to break down some more facts about his murder, and we also got a copy of the video of the shooting. But let's dive right into it. Now, at first, there was news articles going around that the shooting happened on Vermont in 102nd at 12:30 in the morning. But the shooting actually happened at 7-Eleven on the corner of Century and Vermont Ave. And after the shooting, Killer Clock would run down to 102nd in Vermont, and that's where they would find his body. He was pronounced dead on the scene, and his cause of death was a gunshot wound to the back. And this right here would be the 7-Eleven where the shooting took place.
You know what's crazy? That little intersection right there is hot, man. That's a gangbang hot zone. So especially moving around in South Central summer, you got to be real careful over there.
And this would also be in the heart of the 107 Hoovers. And as you can see, 2 streets away would be 102nd. And this right here would be surveillance video of what transpired that night. And as you can see in the top left-hand corner, it would say July 10th of 2026. And the time of this was 12:21 in the morning. Now pay attention to the top of the screen. As you can see, somebody would be entering the parking lot wearing gray shorts and a black hoodie. And this right here would be the shooter. And Killer Clock would be inside of that van in the last parking spot that you see with the back door open and the lights on the side.
Damn, boy. So whoever it was for sure knew he was there. That's why they kind of wonder, is it a back door? Is it a setup? Because that's pretty coincidental to know that he's in that exact moment.
But as you can
that exact spot at that exact moment.
Would stand on the curb across from the parking spots. And now the vehicle that was parked on the side of Killer Clock's van would be reversing. The killer would then step off the curb and stand in the middle of the parking lot. And as you can see, he would have his back towards the vehicle and he would just be standing there. And if you look in between the red Jeep and the burgundy Chrysler, you can see that somebody with a bald head would be talking to him. Now pay attention to the van that Killer Clock was in. As you can see, the LED lights would be on and then they would be shut off. The shooter then took a few steps towards the people in the red.
And then with all these things going on, it's going to lead to the conspiracy theory that he was backdoored by his homies. And not to mention, somebody from his community made a comment saying, y'all groove a homie before y'all groove an enemy. So, that also was taking place.
Jeep and the vehicle that was stopped behind him would leave. But now if you look at the van that Killer Clock was in, you can see that somebody that was wearing white would be standing in the back. And then if you look at the door, somebody would pop their head out. And that would be Killer Clock right there. And you can see him leaning at the top of the van and at the top of the door. But now we're going to rewind it a little bit so you can pay attention to the people in front of the store. Now, as you can see, the 2 people in front of the store would be talking to each other. And the dude in the burgundy wouldn't be looking towards the shooter. And as you can see right here at this point is when Killer Clock would stick his head out the van. And right after he did that, you can see the dude in the burgundy in front of the store look at the van towards Killer Clock. And the shooter also looks towards Killer Clock. There would be no audio for this video, but the way that the dude in front of the store and the shooter both looked at the same time, and they both looked the same direction that Killer Clock was in, I think it's safe to assume that.
It sounds like somebody might have set my man up. For sure, it sounds like somebody might have set my man up. Like, this was a flu flam that was definitely a foot.
Killer Clock might have said something, and the shooter would turn around and then walk towards the van and run at Killer Clock and the person standing at the back of the van. Killer Clock jumped out of the van and tried to run, but as you can see, the shooter would chase him. And the dude that was standing with Killer Clock would jump into the back of the van. And after 10 seconds, you can see the shooter come back into the frame and run past the cameras. But if you notice, he's running the opposite way from the way he entered. Don't forget that he walked in from Vermont. And after the shooting, he ran away towards Century. And as you can...
Damn. Now, again, for that to be one of his enemies, to get him right there would be a very bold move. A very bold move. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I'm saying that it's a bold move. You know what I'm saying? For certain dudes to get hit in certain spots, it's more likely that the inhabitants of your own communities are the ones behind that rather than an opposing factor, for sure.
See, compared to the Jeep, the shooter would be kind of short. He would have a ski mask and a hoodie, but as you can see from his legs, he would be light-skinned. And after the shooting, Killer Clock ran down Vermont and ran down to 102nd. But now we're going to zoom in on the van that Killer Clock was in. And this would be a distinct van. As you can see, it would be wrapped with a graphic and it would have LED lights on the outside. and it was known that Killer Clock was always in this van. But the weird thing about it is the shooter didn't approach the van at first, and he approached it after Killer Clock popped his head out. And technically, he wasn't even paying attention to the van, and he had his back technically towards the van. But my assumption would be that he didn't even know Killer Clock was there, because why would you have your back towards a van that a known shooter's in? And most of his attention is on the bald dude in between the Jeep and the red Chrysler. But now I'm going to play the video with no commentary straight through so you guys can see it.
Man, with this commentary, it does sound like it was an inside job. Even though it happened outside, it sounds like it was an inside job for sure. Because seems like too many things are going on in the mix in between. Seems like there's some nonverbal communication going on there. It's a lot, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It seemed like a flu flam was definitely afoot. But all right.
And after that, we're going to break down the parking lot, the cameras, and the alleyways around there.
That's sad, bro. Sad. For this man like sitting in the van. That's crazy. And it just kind of makes you wonder, like, where are the boundaries? Where are the limitations? Because my man was sitting in a van. And again, you know what I'm saying? Not to say that, what's done in the dark won't come to light, because again, this is a man that was accused of taking the life of KP, which cranked off that 100 days, 100 nights situation. But man, if this situation just didn't go from terrible to more terrible.
And this right here would be where the shooter entered on Vermont, and to the left would be where Killer Clock in the van was parked. But like we said, after he shot him running towards Vermont, the shooter would turn around and run towards Century. But one thing I noticed is there's the alleyway behind 7-Eleven, and it would run from Century Boulevard to 101st Street. And 101st would connect to Vermont, which is where the shooter entered from. So it's possible that the shooter had a getaway driver in that alleyway, considering that would be a perfect lap around the store without anybody seeing a vehicle. But Killer Clock was shot one time in his back, and he would run down 2 blocks to 102nd Street.
Now, I used to live on 101st in Vermont, right behind the fish spot. It's the donut shop. If you on the side where it's the donut shop, something else right there. I forgot what it was. It's a little small alley. Then it's the fish shop. Right behind the fish shop, these little duplexes. That's where I used to stay at. And when it comes to that little alley right there, it's a lot of ways to wiggle. It's a lot of ways to wiggle up and down that little situation where you can't end up on 101st, because I used to cut through the little alleyway and cut through the little blah, 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 blah. So I do understand how you can maneuver around that area. You feel me? I used to live, as a matter of fact, nigga, I used to live right here. Right there. Actually, it's literally the house that I used to live in. That little house right there. You know what I'm saying? So the 7-Eleven is right there. It's definitely this right here. You feel me? It's little cuts and all that stuff that you can go through out here. And even if it's not an alley, you can hit the fence and then be in somebody's backyard and move around. So even if he busted his skit right here, you know what I'm saying? Or, he busted his skit right here, he could keep pushing. And honestly, he could have somebody parked as far away as Hoover. And he could backyard, all the way to Hoover Street and then go from there. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different ways he could have made an exit should that have been his choice.
Like we said, the shooting really happened at 12:22 in the morning, but ambulance responded at 12:49. And a cold twist of the story is that Killer Clock passed away on July 10th of 2026 on a Friday at 12:49. And KP from the Rolling Hunnets passed away July 17th of 2015, and that was also a Friday. And KP was shot around 12:45 in the morning, and they were both chased down by their shooters. But Killer Clock was the left-handed shooter on the KP case. But by saying that, I'm not saying that these cases are related, because I think it's...
No, that's where the reality comes in at. Not saying that the cases are related, but it is very coincidental that you were slain in the same fashion that you slayed someone else. Definitely coincidental that, and ironic for sure, that your life was taken in a similar fashion in which you took a life. So, yeah, that
You
happened.
have to say that if they were hunting him, they probably would have approached the van right away and opened fire right away, or had multiple shooters. And by the shooter approaching the other people wearing a ski mask and a hoodie, it just alerts Killer Clock that somebody's in the parking lot with a ski mask and a hoodie, which would give Killer Clock the upper hand, because as you can see, he popped his head out, and the shooter didn't even know until he said something. And that's when everybody in the parking lot looked towards the van. But my guess would be that Killer Clock didn't have a gun on him that night, and that the shooter was probably in the parking lot tripping on the older people.
But then I also can say that if you heard him stick his head out, I would imagine that it's a familiar voice or a familiar person, because why would you stick your head out or pop your head out for an enemy or an unknown voice or an unknown source? You know what I'm saying? It makes sense for you to have known the person or to have had some kind of dealings with the person rather than, this is being an unnamed or unknown source. Again, that really doesn't make too much sense. You feel me? Because again, why would you poke your head out and make yourself readily available to somebody who you didn't know? Now, if you knew the person, that would make a lot more sense on why you stuck your head out, why you popped your head out, or why you did X, Y, and Z, because you were familiar with the person, you were familiar with the voice. You can kind of match the voice to a familiar friend, ally, and all that kind of stuff. This whole situation goes to show you how there really is no anything when it comes to gangbanging, because in this situation, it's even crazy that they have to debate, is it his enemy or is it his homie that did it to him?
And he was probably just looking for any Hoover and happened to run into Killer Clock. Because like we said, there was no audio, so we don't know what was exchanged between the shooter and the dude in between the Jeep. The dude in between the Jeep could have said he didn't bang. But let me know what you guys think in the comments on what you think transpired that night. And like we said,
I don't know, man. I can see it going a bunch of different ways, man. But God bless the dead and God bless everybody involved. We're going to continue on with this Kantiana, man. Red dot to the left, you know the rest. You feel me? But what I think is, chat, I think that everybody needs to treat each other a whole lot better. What it is. TNN Trap News Network.
I was with Rich Rapper.
I was next with you.
Warning, this video is for satire, educational, and comedy use only. It is not intended to be actual fact, nor is it intended to give real meaning to any of the questions you ponder about later.
Carjack 100 here. If you need your transmission check, come on down to Carjack's. I'm your transmission expert.
I'm glad that you enjoyed that content. We heard the cries, we heard the complaints. Now we don't got no intro, but we do got an outro with the same information, man. Make sure that you are tapped in. Make sure you dropping comments. Make sure you dropping likes. Make sure you subscribing to everything we have going on here at TNN Trap News Network, because we will be giving away some more Chiliana once we hit that 40,000 membership, 40,000 subscriber, threshold. We're gonna make sure that we give y'all some Chiliana, man. So make sure that y'all stay tapped in. Make sure y'all stay looking out. Make sure y'all stay right here at TNN Trap News Network. The news you can use, the knowledge you're not finna get in nobody's college. Hit a like, hit a comment, hit a good subscribe button for everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. We're gonna keep you updated on what's going on these YouTube streets. You already know the deal, man. If you enjoyed this content, throw the red dot to the left. You know the rest. We gone.
Hi, I'm Whack 100. When I'm not snitching on the internet, I'm snitching in real life. For your own personal home security, call 1-800-WACK-ATTACK. We're first, law enforcement second.
Hey, I'm Adam22. Got an extra soul laying around? Be like Doughboy and Whack 100 and sell yours today. One soul equals a lot of clout.
Apollo Jackson.
It's dangerous. You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Work all in the floorboards. Tell the ops check the scoreboard. You can't come outside when it's dangerous. And if you shoot, you ain't miss. A nigga ball like game 6. A nigga ball like game 6.
You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Gotta get the blicky when it's dangerous. Young niggas, we done came from Nathan. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Water like us niggas up in game 6. Mix it with the bullshit, you can save it. Water like us niggas up in game 6.
Game 6, he banned
bands on my neck when I got it on me. And I remember I was broke, I never let them hold me. Final seconds with my back against the wall, 81 point strong with this K, I call it Kobe. Running through this lettuce, nothing you can tell us. Gotta watch my back, I know that they get jealous. Real shit, I got rich, ain't gotta embellish. Real life made men, they call us good fellas. And I ain't got anxiety, I know it's intuition. May never love a bitch, but I for sure play my position. I know the streets talking, I'm cracking, so I ain't tripping. I said I play for keeps, but I guess them niggas ain't listening. Sick like Jordan, call it game six. Shoot like Curry, and I can't miss. Nah, you can't come outside when it's dangerous. You niggas never outside when it's dangerous.
You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Gotta get the blicky when it's dangerous. Young niggas, we done came from Nathan. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Ballin' like us niggas up in game six. Miss it with the bullshit, you can save it. Ballin' like us niggas up in game six.
I've been winning, tell my ops check the scoreboard. Money in the attic, work all in the floorboards. Late night, that's the life that we pray for. Overtime with the pack is what we in the game for. Put myself in the game and everything is just a memory. Made a couple plays for the pain, not an enemy. Gotta watch my friends more, I gotta watch the enemies. Friends is hella fake, I know we're enemies' intentions. I let it go until it click if I'm aiming. Started staying safe and ended up staying dangerous. Game on the line, see the pressure I can take. Hall of Fame shit, so if it's mine, I'ma take. Niggas sick like Jordan, call it game six. Niggas shoot like Curry, and I can't miss. Niggas never outside when it's dangerous. Niggas never outside when it's dangerous.
You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Gotta get the blicky when it's dangerous. Young niggas, we done came from Nathan. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Ballin' like us niggas up in game six. Miss it with the bullshit, you can save it. Ballin' like us niggas up in game six. You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Gotta get the blicky when it's dangerous. Young niggas, we done came from Nathan. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Ballin' like us niggas up in game six. Miss it with the bullshit, you can save it. Ballin' like us niggas up in game six.
Safe like Jordan, call it game six. Shoot like Curry, and I can't miss. You niggas never outside when it's dangerous. You niggas always inside when it's dangerous. Shoot like Curry, and I can't miss. Niggas sick like Jordan, call it game six. Niggas never outside when it's dangerous. You niggas never outside when it's dangerous.